Do something with exactly. We need here. We need.
It backs into a parking lot, which it
So. Is the chair tonight?
I guess that's what I was just told.
Patty's not coming.
I guess not.
Just us three.
and they're on that.
It looks fine to me. Do you know where they're talking about?
Yeah, right on the corner of Lover's Lane.
Mm-hmm. Right, and right here, where's Carlin Wells' office is over here.
Right. But like she was saying, kids walk down this.
Right next to nothing.
Guys,
So,
excuse me.
well,
Excuse me.
yep. Are we ready?
Thank you.
Let's call the roll, please.
Thank you. Okay, Brian,
Yes.
Marla,
Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
and Patty is absent, and Janita is absent. Thank you, guys.
Any consideration and action on the consent agenda? Okay. Will we call for approval of the minutes from the last meeting?
I approve. No, I make a motion to approve. Second.
Brian,
Yes.
Marla,
Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
Okay, there are no items to remove from the consent agenda, so we'll go on to item number 4. Public appearances, petitions, communications, and personal appearances under the Oklahoma law. Planning Commission members are prohibited from discussing any or taking any action on items not on today's agenda. Move on to item number 5. Consideration, discussion, possible action to recommend approval or denial of site plan for Blackwater Coffee Company on property generally located on the southwest corner of Highway 33 and Lovers Lane. Now we can talk about it.
So what exactly is this business? I mean, I realize we're talking about a site thing, but what is the business itself?
well, and let me just, I think I've met you guys, most of you once. I'm Tammy Ewan, and I'm the city attorney, and I'm sort of sitting in for Bob tonight.
Okay.
But, and I know normally he would give you he would be the staff to speak about the project. I'm gonna just let Stephen do that,
Okay.
and then I'll fill in. This one has a complication, and I have talked to Stephen about that, and then I'll talk to you about it after he answers your questions about it.
Okay.
So, Stephen Ghost with Ghost and Associates, we're the civil engineers on the project, so just do it this way. So it's for a drive-through coffee shop at the southwest corner of Highway 33 and Lovers Lane. It'd be a 240 square foot building, windows on each side. We have a drive off of Lovers Lane and a drive off of the highway. So cars can stack coming both ways. There's employee and guest parking over here. There's 120 foot of frontage on Highway 33. With that, the utilities, the sewer is in the back, the water's in the front, the electric is on Lovers Lane. We'll be draining water to the ditch on the highway and a little bit out Lovers Lane. It's zone commercial.
And this back up right to the lots that are on sale.
Yeah, Kinder Wells.
Kinder Wells lots there.
8, section 8, yes. And there was a sewer line put in the back of those lots, so that's what this will get sewer off
Okay,
of.
and it's rated for,
It's zone commercial.
okay.
The complication that Tammy's talking about, so tract 1 has been purchased by our client, tract 2 is still under contract.
Okay.
We added this piece after initial design to get a driveway out on the highway, because we couldn't get 2 driveways on Lovers and meet the city's driveway spacing requirements, but this does, this driveway meets ODOT standards.
Okay.
And so a condition of approval of this will be our client's purchase of both tracks and combining it into one track, which we understand that needs to happen. But they want to make sure they can build it, or the site plan's approved before they go buy additional land, so.
All right. Okay.
So this business is not a donut shop, correct? It's
No,
a,
it's a coffee shop, Blackwater Coffee.
So basically coffees and maybe teas.
And Josh and Alicia are the operators, so if you want to know more about operations, we can get them to talk about what they sell.
and now they come in here or they can enter this way, correct?
Correct, you can enter off of Lovers or the
But can they
highway.
also exit this
Yes,
way?
they can exit both directions.
Because Marla was saying, being on Lover's Lane, this is where a lot of kids walk to
Yeah, and
school.
the sidewalk, the asphalt sidewalk is right here, so we'll build a crosswalk at that location. And this driveway's back off of this intersection to meet the driveway spacing requirements, so that turning movements isn't happening right.
It's also a really busy street in the mornings because of not only the kids walking, but parents going to the elementary and intermediate schools.
And that's why it's ideal for a coffee shop.
Yeah, but that's also why it's not ideal for the,
You think
for the
it's
traffic,
safe-
I'm thinking
safety.
traffic and safety.
Yeah. It's, well, I think the good thing though is they do have plenty of drive-through space here. So they'll be just pulling off into there. And they shouldn't be getting up a lot of speed just coming off around the corner right there. It's, what is it, about 100 feet, 150 feet, something like that.
It's 165 feet from the center of the
165,
drive
okay.
to the property corner.
So they're not gonna have a whole lot of time to get up a lot of speed coming from this way. I wouldn't think. Someday, somebody eventually is gonna put a business there.
Yeah,
That's a
I
good
think,
location, so. And it looks like they're thinking well ahead of time how to handle traffic.
Yeah, the other thing was just we're getting a lot of coffee shops.
Well, that's
there's
their
the-
problem.
yep.
It would be sales tax revenue, I think.
And it looks like they're gonna be saving some of the trees.
Yeah,
so-
the trees that are shown on here are the existing trees that are out there.
So, actually Harlan's office is right
Yeah.
there.
Harlan's office is over there's probably another
Lot there.
150 feet before Harlan's office.
Would that be business?
Would
that be room for another business or
Yeah.
something? Could be.
Harlan would like to hope so.
Yeah, he would love to see the whole street there covered in
True.
business, but
Well, after, I did say about the coffee shops, but I don't see a problem. Now they've got that, as long as there's gonna be a crosswalk and there,
Yeah, I mean, we'll put in ramps, barrier-free ramps on either side.
Uh-huh.
These will be concrete driveways.
Are those ramps drawn on your site plan?
Yeah.
yeah, they're on here.
I'm just still, that's just, and I know there's gonna be other businesses coming in, but that particular intersection is so busy in the mornings. And I know that's what the coffee people want, but I'm thinking traffic, are we gonna put a traffic light there? Because it's already
Well,
tough to get across there.
that's out of our purview
I know,
here.
I'm just,
I think the question for us is, are they meeting the code requirements? And I think, I think if I'm right, that's kind of what our limit is here, is to
Right.
ensure that we're meeting code requirements.
Well, let me just say that Bob wears many, many hats, including building inspector hat involved in reviewing these plans and ensuring, and determining if they comply with the codes, and he has determined that they have. But, and so the issues are, does it comply with the codes? But then you can, and the other issue is does it protect the health, safety, and welfare of the inhabitants?
Okay, so that's a fair question then.
But when a light's gonna go in,
Yeah, that's up to the,
Well, they've already got
kind of
Well,
thing
that
like,
would be up to the state highway department.
yeah. Well, that flashing light, yeah, right.
and they'll want money from the city though.
I remember back when that was one of the main intersection to get to the high school, when all the construction was being done down at 33 and 177 intersection. You could hardly get through there. I don't know if you remember that. I
didn't have to go that
I
way.
can remember trying to get, because I live on Eaton, and I was trying to get to the high school to go to work. And it was horrendous, trying to get across that intersection, the kids, everything. So it's like, I'm thinking, ugh.
You know, by my experience, I've taken my granddaughter almost every day to elementary school, and there is some traffic on that street. Most of it is actually over here on Kirk Street.
These people are gonna be going in and coming right back out onto the highway.
Most of them either go back down Kirk Street or they go up Kirk Street over to
Not if they're coming, I mean, not if they're going to work.
well,
I mean, if they're going down 33 to go to work, they go down and then they get it back on 33.
well, I think most of them, my experience is most of them just head back down Kirk. Because in the morning, that intersection is so difficult to make a left turn on that hardly anybody goes that way on the way back out. Just, I know from personal experience, you can sit there quite a while trying to.
That's what I'm talking about, though. That's my biggest, that's one of my
Yeah.
concerns.
But I think that's far enough removed from the intersection. I don't think that would be a big issue. But you're asking good questions.
Probably once somebody has come, stopped there and tried to get back out on 33, they're gonna say, well, the next time we're gonna go
That's
the
what
other way.
happened to me.
We're gonna-
I did that a couple
yeah,
of times, and I said,
exactly.
I'm not doing that again.
And then just
Yeah.
go down Main Street and the light, you
That-
know?
The other thing that and I hope they don't do this, is people going down and turning into the old housing addition there and trying to come around through that addition with
Oh, they'll get,
idiots, but, okay.
one of you ready to make a motion?
Well, I was gonna ask, how many employees would you be having?
So my name is Alicia Patterson. My husband Josh and I are the owners. We started one of these in Colorado, and we both are from the Pacific Northwest, where there's these same coffee shops on literally every corner in every town, city that you can imagine. So our plan is to have 12 to 15 employees. If we have more that are willing and able to work full-time, then it might be a little less. But generally, it's kind of a part-time job. Our hours will be probably either between 5 and 6 a.m. is when we'll open, and we'll stay open till 6 or 7 p.m. 7 days a week. Sunday we'll close earlier. And so right now we're looking at 12 employees. We'll have a manager that's kind of in charge, and my husband and I will do all the training. Our goal is to open about a handful of these shops throughout Oklahoma. We just wanted our first one to be here in Perkins. So we fell in love with the town when we came up here last fall and moved our whole family, ourselves and our boys out here just a couple months ago, so we could get this plan up and going.
So this is just a franchise, and you have bought a franchise?
We're wanting to start a franchise.
Okay.
So it's our own. What
Okay.
we've done before, we sold our shop in Colorado a year ago. We had it for a year and a half, and another business across the street from us wanted it, so they offered us a price we couldn't refuse, and we took it and are on to the next step for our family, so.
Okay, and is there any, is it just drive-through or is there any eat inside?
No, so the building itself is just drive-through. Our plan is to do some nice tables and chairs and a little area for people to hang out, especially with the housing development behind us. Take advantage of the trees and the nice grassy area in the spring and summertime. But no indoor seating. We'll make sure that there's plenty of lighting and like paint on the asphalt drives for walkways. Technically, I guess it would be a crosswalk, but it'll be on our property for people to safely walk up and order drinks from the windows between the high school, the houses, and everyone coming and going. And then we'll make sure that the drive entrances have plenty of paint and signs, and if we have considered the issue with turning left onto Highway 33 from that entrance and exit, and so what we've considered is doing a no left turn sign up as well, just for the safety of everyone involved. We think it'll be fine with just how far back we are from that intersection, that there shouldn't be any issues, but obviously we have 2 little ones, so we understand that while you think it might be safe, it's not always what you think. So our goal is definitely to make it safer than it needs to be, so that we're proactive from preventing any issues.
Okay, and of course Bob has gone over all of this stuff, and how's he feels? Does he agree?
Well, he states that they, that it complies. And the only issue is, and so sometimes I get to help you frame your actual motion, but this one could be a little bit complicated. If you are going to recommend approval,
Right.
I'm advising that you approve it on the condition. Well, let me back up. As Stephen stated, right now, this site plan is drawn on 2 different parcels,
Right.
owned by 2 different people. Okay? The applicants own the big parcel, and if they move forward as planned, I guess they're contracted already to purchase the little parcel, but they don't own it. And you should not, let me phrase it, I advise against approving a site plan that covers property of somebody else, And
It all
so
needs to be contingent on,
it needs to be conditioned or contingent on technically a minor subdivision, which would divide out from, here's Harlan's other property. That section has to be divided out of Harlan's property.
Okay.
That'd be done by minor subdivision. And then a combination where this new strip gets combined with their other strip, and they own it all. So that this site plan covers one parcel owned by one entity, and the building inspector knows, here's the line, the outline of this parcel, here's what the setback lines are gonna be, all of that kind of thing. Our code is difficult in many ways, if you haven't noticed, but I've concluded that Bob can do, as city manager, can approve the site, the minor subdivision and the consolidation or combination. It's a matter of them applying for it. Now, he doesn't have to, obviously, but he could. If they applied for it and provided him with the proper paperwork and the deeds so that this all gets done right, he doesn't need to bring it to you. He doesn't need to bring it to the commission.
can you advise us on specific wording for the motion?
The motion?
Yes.
If you're wanting to move to, wanting to move to deny, that's easy, right? If you're wanting to move to approve, it would be subject to or contingent to on completion of a minor subdivision and lot consolidation, so that there's one parcel owned by one entity.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's, I guess, one parcel owned by one entity is kind of the crux of it.
Because that's the whole outside dining area.
Yes, that'd be,
Yeah.
I assume, that's right there, something like that, so.
Well, Brian.
Oh, want me to make them?
Well, let me just give you, it's not that unusual for a business to say to a landowner, we think we want to build this here, but we don't know because the code requires, the city's code requires this, the zoning change, whatever. And so the landowner typically goes and gets what needs to happen so that there's one parcel. And then, and then they can close and sell it and do what they want to do. This is different because they got part of the parcel, but not all of it. And that's unfortunate. So
We have actually already closed on the lot. We're just waiting for that second one to record, apparently. We closed on it a week and a half ago. A week ago this past Friday, almost 2 weeks ago tomorrow. So I'm not sure why it hasn't recorded.
Well, they probably, because I would guess, if the county clerk is doing his or her job, they wouldn't record it until there's a stamp on it from Bob.
Right, and we
Showing that there was a lot, a minor subdivision, so that's probably why.
And so we have
So-
discussed this
Yeah.
at length with Bob, so he's aware of.
Oh, yeah. I know.
So everything is done on our end. We're just waiting for his approval ultimately.
Any other questions for
So-
me?
So are we still contingent then?
Yes, yeah, that only makes it more probably difficult for them, but it doesn't change the motion that you could make.
Any more,
I think I could.
any more discussion or questions? Go for it, okay. I make the motion that we approve this plotting contingent. Recommend that we approve this plotting based on based on the contingency of the subdivision approval and
Combination.
completion.
Combination.
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 You got that?
Oh, yeah,
Minor subdivision and combination.
Okay.
by one person or, yeah.
Is that good enough?
I second,
Okay, that'll work.
I second the motion.
Okay,
Brian,
yes.
Marla,
Yes.
and Joe.
Yes.
So this will move forward to a public hearing at, I guess, the next commission meeting. Well, I don't know, at a commission meeting.
Oh, it just said planning commission approval.
No, well, it looks like that, but then it says in our ordinance that there has to be a public hearing held pursuant to the provisions of subsection 1-6-3 or 31, and that only applies, that talks about public hearings before the commission. And so I thought, well, then we have to have a public hearing. This was not scheduled for public hearing. And so we haven't had a public hearing, so we'll have it in front of the commission. The way that that subsection 1-6-3 requires. And by then, hopefully, the contingencies will have been accomplished and the commission can approve the site plan.
That's the city commission.
The city commission, yes. I know, I wish we called them city council just to keep, but yeah.
So that's all we do is just.
Yep. So we're done with that part of it then. Yes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's announced.
Okay, so we'll move on. Any new business under the Open Meeting Act? Possible action to recommend, I'll read the correct paragraph. Under the Open Meeting Act, this agenda item is authorized only for matters not known about or which could not have been reasonably foreseen prior to the time of posting the agenda or any revised agenda. Looks like we have no new action items, so do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Brian,
Yes.
Marla,
Yes.
Yes.
We have a call to order for our floodplain board.
Brian,
Yes.
Marla,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
and Patty and Janita are absent.
Consideration and action on the consent agenda, which is the approval of minutes for the regular meeting.
I approve. I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second those.
Brian,
Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
and Marla.
Yes.
There was no action to remove anything from the consent agenda, so we'll go to item number 4. Public appearances, petitions, communications, and personal appearances under Oklahoma law. The floodplain board members are prohibited from discussing or taking any action on items not on today's agenda.
I don't see anybody in the room.
Don't see anybody, no. Item number 5, new business. Under the Open Meeting Act, this agenda item is authorized only for matters not known about or which could not have been reasonably foreseen prior to the time of posting the agenda or any revised agenda. I know of no new business. So, do we have a,
I move adjournment.
I second it.
Brian,
yes?
Marla,
Yes.
and Joe.
Yes.
Did you do that or do?
So maybe a little cleaning up on the city ordinances here.
That is in order, yes, yeah.
Okay.
And I just want to